Hi Happy Crafters, how are you all? Thank you for joining me. Sorry for the 5-minute delay. It's been a busy old day, should we say. The traffic wasn't very kind, and then I've had to deal with some family bits and bobs, but I'm here still all the same. So today I'm going to be showing you two effects that give great looking cards. So for those of you that don't know who I am, my name is Toni and I'm a guest presenter over on Create and Craft, and I love to paint and play. I like to create anything with these, and if I can inspire anybody else to do the same, then I'm doing a good job. So if you are watching on Facebook, please don't forget to like and share, and if you're over on the YouTube channel, please don't forget to click the subscribe button. Just a little update for you. Tomorrow our live studio will have to be in the morning at 10 o'clock. So rather than cancel, we've got a few things going on, we're going to do it tomorrow 10 o'clock in the morning. Now if you can't watch it live, that's not a problem, it never goes away. It will always be on YouTube, but I will also put all the links across the board on social media, so you'll be able to find it and see what we've been up to. So don't forget, tomorrow 10 o'clock, and if you're obviously at work, then you can catch it when you're finished, or later in the week when you've had too much Christmas pudding. So we're going to do two lovely cards today, and I've just got one stamp, which is awesome really. So if you do like the stamp, it's not going to be expensive. But again, as always here at Stamps by Me, you can use anything you've got in your stash or anything that you think might work. So this stamp here is a small A6 one, and the reason I've picked this one is because it's got large open spaces, and I'm going to do a little bit of colouring with this one, a little bit of a technique. So just one second. So basically we're going to do a one layer card. Sorry, my son's just passing me a Christmas cracker, bless him. So we're going to do a one layer card, and then we're going to do a bit of inky. So we're going to use some of our Generation inking bottles, ink worth talking about, and we're going to use some pencils for a change. So let's crack on with our first demo. So I've got a piece of purple cardstock here, and I'm just going to show you a little bit of a technique. So let's pop this in our fabulous Eureka. Just hold it in place with my magnets, and then I'm just going to get some low tack tape. I'm going to create a bit of a frame on here for myself. So nothing fancy. But before I stick this onto my artwork, I am going to just remove some of the tack. So I'm just going to pop it on my clothing, give it a good rub in, and then remove it, because otherwise I find it tears my card and it spoils the hard work. So I'm just going to pop this down this side. So this is just going to be a quick technique. I have got one made ahead of time so you can see the result. I'll just pop that down there and get another piece. I'm going to just repeat the process, put it on my clothing and pop it down this side. Now if you want an exact frame, you can use a pencil and a ruler if you wish, and then rub out the pencil line later. So just move that up there. Then I'm just going to do a piece across the bottom here. So now we're all ready to do our technique. So I'm going to be working in the upper part, in this area here. So just stick it down. So just in case I get a little bit of excess over, I'm just going to pop a little bit across the bottom as well. And you'll see what I mean when it comes to fruition. So there we go. So now we're ready to go. So I've already got my stamp. Before I put that down, because we're doing some heat embossing, I am going to use an anti-static bag, and I am just going to pop it in this area here where I'm going to be doing the heat embossing. So lots of light taps all over, and this gets rid of that horrid, awful flecks. Now if you watched me live on telly today, you will see I did some heat embossing. Did I use the heat embossing anti-static bag? No, because I left it here. So silly me, can't be in two places at once, I guess. So I'm just going to mask off down the sides as well. Just lightly. as always, I will be giving the makes away. I was 2 days behind on the other makes, so I have posted the names today, and they will get hopefully posted today or tomorrow, so you should get them within the next few days. But as always, if you do pop a comment on the Facebook page or social media, I do pick a lucky winner. So I'm just going to pop that face down and try and get as much of the image in there as I can, and I'm just going to pick it up. We're going to use a sticky ink pad because we're using a white embossing powder on this one. So if you're searching your stash, oh, has that moved? Let me just check that. I think it's moved, has it? No. If you're searching your stash at home, for this technique, it lends itself really well to open spaces. So look for maybe a flower that you might have that's got some open spaces so you can colour. So I'll just take this out from underneath here for now. So that's fine. And then I'm just going to creep it along this corner, filling that space there. Get as much on there as I can. Just ink this one. I'm going to press firm to try and make sure I hit right up to that masking tape line. There we go. So I'm just going to remove that, and then in the same set I have the words birthday wishes, so I'm just going to pop birthday wishes just up there like so, and I'm going to heat emboss this one too. Then we can heat it all through at the same time. There we go. So I'm just going to remove this from here and just get some white cardstock to collect the white powder. Stuck to my mat now. Just remove it off my mat. There we go. So this is just a general white embossing powder. I haven't actually got that much left, to be honest. Shows you how much I use white. No, it's got no sparkle, it's just a pure white. You can see how lovely that is. So I'm just going to tip that back in the jar and just go over it again. So, irrespective of me using my anti-static bag, can you see here? We have a bit of a clump of white powder. So I'm just going to take a dry brush and I'm just going to take it off, brush it off. Tidy it up a little bit. So I think that's good to go otherwise. So anything you're not happy with, just go in with a dry brush. Take it off. So I'll just clean this off. So if you do like this stamp, you can catch it on our website. All you need to go to the search engine and pop in FBL Facebook Live into our search engine. It brings up everything that we've used over the course of the last 6 or 7 days. But like I say, you might already have this, you might have this stamp already, or something that you could use. So I'm just getting my gun good and hot so I prevent the warping in the card. So I always do 30 seconds off page before I go on page. Now, And then we get a crystal clear white, which is amazing. And you know when it's baked, because it'll be all the same colour, there'll be no shades in there, all flat colour. Can you see that there? There we go. So I'm just going to give that a waft and get it dry, so we can move on to our next technique. So I'm trying to create a one-layer card that possibly looks like a two-layer card, but without using anything other than probably the things that you've got in your stash at home. So that's fine. So I'll just clear this one down. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get this white piece of paper here, just so you can see what I'm doing, because I don't think it's showing up on the black. There we go, that's better. So I have a white ink pad here and a sponge dauber. Now this is, I believe, a Hero Arts one. My craft kit is still in my car, so I've grabbed an alternative, and this is just as good. So this is a unicorn white, and I think it's Hero Arts, and it's just a little one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create like a bit of a ghost shadow within this window. I'm just going to pick up some of the white ink, and I'm going to start off page with a twisting motion, and I'm just going to take it onto page, and it'll create a little bit of like a haze or a hue. Can you see that there? I'm just going to do this all around this section where we've got it masked. And I'm particularly going to get some of the white into those flowers, because that will help with my next technique. So if you have a sparkly gold ink pad, the Memento Stardust ones work beautifully for this technique. So give it a go with varying ink pads and see what sort of effects you get. But I just love the gentle hue that a white one gives you. I'm going to leave a little bit of a spotlight in there that's quite dark, so this little area here, but I'm just going to blend this little area a little bit better than it is. So no more ink on my pad, I'm just going to go and just gently rub over and hopefully bring it all together. You see that there? So I'm still not happy as much. Let's get a bit more on there. Seems to be going liney. Let's get rid of it. So circular motion with these. I mean, you don't have to use these ones. Use whatever you've got in your stash. I just found these a little bit easier than the sponge daubers, the littler ones that I generally use. Just got a bit more control for this technique. There we go. So you can see there. Sort of technique you get there. It's a bit like a fog. Is that the best way of saying? So then what I'm going to do with this here is I'm just going to remove the tape. Now have some patience, take your time, don't tear your card. And I'm telling you this because it's something I always do. Patience, as my other half would say, patience of a knit. What that exactly means I'm not quite sure, but I get told it often. And this is why I did pop it on my clothing, because I didn't want it to tear. But I'm happy I've got one pre-made, so I'm finished. So I know somebody's going to get something beautiful. I generally do use the purple low tack tape, but again, that's in my craft bag. So I'm working with what I've got in my stash. So here you can see we've got like a beautiful window on there, which I think looks quite good. So just to finish it, there is more to do, but I just want to show you another little technique. So I have a white gel pen here and I have a ruler. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to frame this if my gel pen allows. So I'll just get some cardstock. Just make sure it's working. It is. So I'm just going to put a frame around here. So I'm just going to go 1/2 centimetre in, make sure it's straight. Now you don't have to do this, but I find it frames your artwork if the pen works. So that down the one side, can you see there? I'll fill in that little line there in a second. So just come back to this one. And then do one down this side. To the base. And then one across here. You can see there, and what that gives you is like a window. It actually looks like you've got 2 pieces of card on there, I think, personally, but it's not, it's absolutely flat. I'm just going to fill that little gap in there, that little gap in there, like so. So here I have some coloured pencils. Now the reason why I put this little bit of a white base down, this is purple cardstock, I'm not sure if it's, yeah it is, it's showing there, look. I put the white on there is because I want these pencils to pop from the page, but if you haven't ever heard of Prismacolor pencils, then I encourage you to go and check them out. They're so smooth and gorgeous, and I did a few videos on these not so long ago, and I know a lot of you went and bought them. You can blend them together like you can your alcohol inks and things like that, but these just make your artwork literally pop, and they work fabulously on black cardstock. So let's just colour these leaves here and I'll show you. I'll just zoom in, see if I can get a zoom in on here for you. And just so you can see. Thank you. So you can see. You can see how that's popping like so. And then when you add another colour, that just even sits on top. They're absolutely amazing. See that there? Looks really lovely. And then when you go to do your colours, so I've got a blue one here, and I'm just going to work on this large one here because it's the one that looks the biggest. So circular motion within, and if you get the pencil on your petals, the white embossing outline, it rubs away, which is fabulous. So I'll just quickly do this flower. I mean, please, if you are wanting to try this technique, that's fine, and you have got pencils, give them a go. I've not worked with any others, so I can't comment and say what will, what probably wouldn't work. I've just worked with these. I probably would never touch another pencil now. So, but do use what you've got in your stash. Can you see how that's popped? They are amazing. And then I have like a pinky colour here. Just going to create a bit of dimension in there. I'm not going to colour it all because, like I say, I have got one finished. So if you were batch stamping, you could make a lot of these in varying colours. I'm just going back over with this one to blend it out. So you can see how that artwork is going to come to life, and I have got one already made which is finished. There we go, can you see that? So and all I did with that one was I got my white gel pen and I added some detail with some spots in varying areas just to add a little bit of detail. You could pop pearls or anything you wanted around there. So it's completely flat but looks really effective. So you could do a double frame if you wanted to and mount it like our mount stamps. So I hope you like that technique. I'll move on to the second one. So again, don't forget to comment if you like the technique. Will you be giving it a go? So this is the one what I've just been done as a quick demonstration, and this is the one I coloured pre going to air. So just so you can see. So let's clear the station. So the second one I wanted to show you is with the same set, but I just want to show you some samples. So using the technique I'm going to show you now. So we have this one here. Can you see this one on here? So this is it masked and built on top of each other, and then watercolour just dropped in there. So it just shows you how lovely this stamp set lends itself to this technique. So penciling, definitely white embossing is the way to go with it. Just seeing if I've got another one here. No, just move this one. So all the techniques with the inks and things like that lend themselves to large open spaces. I'm just trying to show you that now with all these samples. You can see all big open spaces. So I'm just going to show you this technique in a different fashion, should we say. So ahead of time I've got some card here and I have heat embossed it all over. Can you see that there? Just as in this card here. So white embossed, and then I've just heat embossed it in white on there. So all I'm going to do now is I'm just going to pop it in my Eureka because I just like it to be held in place while I'm doing a bit of a inky background. So I've just put some cardstock behind and just bobbed it on there like so. So I have a piece of packaging, just nothing fancy, just an empty packet from, I think it was from my adhesive pearls to be honest, so it's nothing fancy. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to set this aside here. And we have our lovely inks, Gossip ink worth talking about, and I have number 11 and number 12. So I'm going to use, let's just go for the purple first. So I'm going to pipette some of the ink out. I tell you what, let's do it sparkly, let's give it a shake. So I'm just going to pipette a little bit of the ink out onto my glass mat. Put all the excess back in the bottle. I'll just spray it with a little bit of water. Sorry to hide, it's just because I don't want it to go everywhere. And then the packaging. So here we have our sterile image. Now you can do wet in wet like we did the other day on one of our techniques, or you can just drop the ink onto the card. But I am going to give this a spritz, so when I come to drop my ink on, it'll just work its magic and do whatever it likes basically. I'm not governed about where it's going to go, what it's going to do. I'm just going to let it do what it wants basically and see what happens. So I'm just going to pick up some of this ink, and you can see it's stuck to the plastic there. All I'm going to do is just drop it in, and what will happen is the white embossing powder will just resist it. You can push it around with your finger if you want to. You see there? Now if you wanted it even brighter than that, all you have to do is not dilute the ink. So before I go any further, I'm going to dry that off, and then I'm going to drop some of the other colour in, so I get two colours in the same image. I'm not going to dry it back loads, but I don't want them to contaminate. I want this to stay true, and then when I add the second colour, that one will stay true also. if you do have a puddle, and because I have and I want to crack on, I'm just going to soak that little bit of colour up there. It is best if you can leave it to air dry, crafters. You just get a truly beautiful look if you can leave it to air dry. Right, I'm happy that's dry enough. It's not completely dry, but it's okay, it won't contaminate as much. So just tidy this station a little bit. I'm going to remain some of the ink on there for my splats, because I always do splats. So I'll just put this one away. And we'll get some of the lovely number 12. Just give it a shake so it's sparkly. A little bit up, just a little bit. Spray again, just to dilute a little bit back. Get my packaging. Now I am going to clean my packaging back so they don't contaminate. So I'll just pick some of this ink. Again, because I've dried this back, I'm going to spray it again in the areas where I'm going to be popping the pink. So I just push the ink wherever it wants to go. And if there's any white spaces, you can fill them with your colour, just drop the colour in. And just sit back and just let it just do what it does best, which is just absolutely amazing. So I am going to dry that back. I'm just going to fill in that little space there because I've got some leaves that are just doing what they want up there. We do need filling in. There we go. So just bear in mind when you are heating your work in your Eureka, not to take the heat direct to the foam mat underneath because it will cockle. It's okay loose like so, but if you hold it in one spot, obviously directional heat, you'll ruin your mat, so just be mindful of that. So with the remaining ink that is on my mat, I'm going to just pop some splashes on there. So I'm just got a brush here and I'm just going to pick up the ink. Get some spots on there. Now because it's still a little bit wet, they're blending in, but that's okay. It gives a really realistic watercolour look, which I absolutely love. So I'm just going to not waste any of the ink and get it on there. And dry this one back. Sometimes drying from the back makes your card go back the other way, so if you're finding you're getting a right big hump in there, try it from the back, and sometimes the fibres will warm back the other way. Now, I don't think you'll be able to see this in here, but there is so much sparkle in there, it's just amazing. So I'll just get rid of this mess in here. And then just grab one of our lovely sentiments from yesterday again. So just going to stamp this one out. Just go for black. Keep going. I'm using a memento on this one. My VersaFine is clearly in the car, but it's no problem. It still works all the same, and you might not have a VersaFine ink pad at home. It's just a black ink pad. We're not doing any colouring with it. But I do want it to be a true black, so I am just going to keep going until it's truly black. I'll go for it one more time. There we have. So there we have, I'd mount that onto a white or a black top folding note card, and you have an instant beautiful card. If you wanted to, which is what I am going to do, is I'd just take a few pearls which just offset the blockness of the colour, and I would pop them within the open spaces. Like so. I'd mount it onto a card. So there we go. I'm not sure if the sparkle will show on there, but the lucky winner will be able to see the sparkle. So there we have two absolutely fabulous cards, two completely different techniques. So I do hope you've liked them. I just wanted to do one of the smaller stamps today. I don't think we've done an A6 one since we've actually been doing the 12 days of Christmas. So, you know, you can do amazing techniques with smaller stamps, so you don't have to have huge ones all the time. So I hope you've enjoyed it. Tomorrow, 10 o'clock, remember, not 4 o'clock, 10 o'clock, but you can always catch it later. So whatever you're doing this evening, have a good one, stay safe, stay cozy, and I'll see you all tomorrow at 10 o'clock. Bye for now.